Good morning. Good Monday morning. We are here in the office this morning, and hope you all had a great weekend. I hope you got out and enjoyed the weather for a bit. Um, we have reached blackberry winter apparently. It has cooled off. It's a lot chillier this morning than it has been. Looks like we're in the 50s right now. Warm up a little more today, around close to 70, I think. So enjoy it if you like the cooler weather. Make sure to get out and enjoy it, and get out and get some sunshine either way. But again, I hope you had a great weekend. I appreciate all of you for coming in and joining us here on these videos. Today, I want to talk about, I've made a few shorts and reels and different little videos on this thought, but I wanted to do a more longer version of this. Um, the thought is, there's an old saying out there that if you get on the wrong train, you need to exit the train at the very next station, because the longer you stay on this train, the more costly that return trip's going to be. So now, this is not about trains. This is about life. This is about your mindset. This is about your habits. It's about your mission. And right now, there are a lot of people stuck on the wrong train. A lot of them are on that wrong train and they know it. They feel it in their gut. They see the signs, they see the frustration, they feel the emptiness, that anxiety, that endless grind is just not cutting it. It's not fulfilling them. But yet they stay seated, eyes down, nose to the grindstone, convincing themselves that it's easier to just ride it out, right? Kind of like folks going to Home Depot and getting some plywood in the hurricane. We're just going to ride it out. But that's a lie. That's a negative trance. That's a myth that we've bought into. So let's take a few minutes this morning and just break that lie wide open. So, what does the wrong train look like? We've all been on the wrong train at some point. And some things that it can look like are a career that's killing your soul, but it pays the bills, sucking every last bit of happiness and energy that you have, but yet it pays the bills, right? Or maybe it's a relationship you're in where you're more tolerated than respected. Or it could just be a mindset that you have of anxiety or victimhood or self pity, and that you know this mindset's holding you back. Or it could be addictive behaviors that started as a coping mechanism, but they became a cage, a trap, a prison that slowly encircled you. Or maybe it's your walk of faith that has become hollow or legalistic or disconnected from any real purpose. You have friendships or surroundings and environments that just drain you instead of sharpening you. You know, it's those places that you dread to get up and go to. And the problem is we're on these trains on the wrong track, headed the wrong direction, and yet we don't get off at the next station. We would rather ride it out. Why? Because the longer we stay on that train, headed the wrong way, the wrong direction, the more our brains tell us, well, you've come this far, you might as well keep going, right? Or it's not really that bad yet. Yet, that's the key word. It's not that bad yet. Or I'll figure it out later. We've all told ourselves those lies. We've all been in that negative trance. Here's a big one. Quitting means failure. And so you ride on that train over and over. Every stop you pass, the further you get from where you're meant to be. So there's a thing out there. It's called a logical fallacy. It's called the sunk cost fallacy. And the idea behind this fallacy is that because you've already invested time, because you've already invested money, because you've already put all of this energy into something, you have to keep going, even if it's a dead end. And I know a lot of folks that live by this fallacy all the time. They'll say things like, well, I've been at this job for 10 years. I can't quit now. Or, we've been together for so long, I can't walk away. Or, I've built my whole identity around this belief or this habit, and I can't change it now. But here's the truth behind those lies. The time, the energy, the money that you've already spent, it's gone. It's paid. It's done. It's not coming back. You can't get it back. The only question that matters now is, do I keep investing in something that's taking me further from who I want to be? Or do I get off this train at the next station? So let's talk consequences for a few minutes about staying on the train. It doesn't just keep you stuck, but it makes the price of change higher. It costs more the longer you wait. So think about it this way. If you stay on the wrong train, headed the wrong way, going even further from your goals, here's what it's going to cost you. Every day you stay in that wrong place is a day that you'll never get back. Time is the one resource that you can't replenish, you can't replace, you can't restore. It's going to drain you of your energy and your passion. It's slowly over time, this is going to eat away at your drive, at your clarity, at your strength, and eventually you're going to start to forget what it even felt like to be excited with purpose. It's going to cost you your identity. The longer that you live out of alignment with your purpose, the more you become someone you were never meant to be. That changes how you see yourself and how others see you. It's going to cost you relationships. When you're stuck, everyone around you feels it. You can't be fully present. You can't be fully loving. And you can't be fully strong for your family, your friends, your team, when you're secretly miserable inside. And it's going to cost you the very soul of who you are. This slow death of who you are called to be. That nagging voice inside, that one that knows you're made for more, it gets quieter and quieter the longer you ignore it. And I know people, good people, strong people, that stay stuck for reasons that really seem valid at first glance. But it's pride. You don't want to admit that you made a bad call. Or it's the comfort. This known pain that you're feeling feels safer than that unknown freedom that's out there. Or you think leaving would let people down. Or fear. You're afraid of what that next move might be. What if it's worse? or hope. You keep thinking, well, maybe, just maybe, this situation will turn around on its own. And the truth of the matter is this: none of these are good enough reasons for you to waste your life. You were built to lead. You were built to fight. You were built to create, to build, not to ride this slow train to nowhere in the wrong direction, hoping that it magically ends up where you wanted it to go. So, we know now we're stuck on this wrong train. How do we get off the train? What do we do when we realize that we're on the wrong track? First thing we got to do is own it, admit it. And it's just being purely honest with yourself. No sugarcoating, no excuses. Ask yourself, and here's where the notebook comes in. You knew I was going to mention the notebook, right? You knew I was going to say something about having a notebook. So here is where that comes in. Ask yourself, where am I living out of alignment? Ask yourself, what train did I get on that I should have never stepped foot on? Then ask yourself, what's the real reason I'm still here? Because you can't change what you won't face. You just can't do it. Then you've got to, once you're brutally honest with yourself, asking these questions, taking some time, writing it down in a notebook, something about putting it on paper where you can see it, has a greater impact on that unconscious mind. And once you've identified these places, these thoughts, these reasons, then you've got to identify the next station. Now, the next station is not a perfect solution. So remember that. The next station is not a perfect solution, but it is your next opportunity to exit the train going the wrong way. So what that might mean for you is setting a deadline to leave a job that's draining you, that's just destroying your mentality. Or it could mean actually booking a session with a coach or a counselor or a therapist. Someone that can help you when you get off that train headed in the wrong direction. They can help turn you in the right direction, get you on a train headed back to where you're supposed to be. Or maybe it's having a hard conversation that you've been avoiding for way too long. Making a plan to actually pivot, to change, to turn and go in the right direction. So get off the train that's going the wrong way at the very next exit. Whatever that exit is for you. Again, it's not going to be perfect, but it's your soonest opportunity to begin heading back in the right direction. And once you get off that train and you start heading back in the right direction, there's going to be discomfort. So go ahead and brace yourself for it now. It's going to be messy. It's going to be awkward. It's going to feel uncomfortable. But I promise you that discomfort is temporary. Staying stuck, that's permanent unless you act, unless you change. So once you're off of the train headed the wrong way, it's time to map out the path that you're wanting to move towards, the place you actually want to go. So that means getting clear on some things. What do you really want? I mean, really want. Again, this is where your notebook comes into play. So get out a piece of paper, get your notebook, write at the top of the page, what do I really, and put that word really in all caps if you need to. What do I really want? And then once you get that going and that answer going, then you want to find support. So who can help me stay aligned with these goals? To help me get what I really want. And then that's where discipline comes in. What daily steps can you take to help keep you moving forward? Refuse to get back on that train that was headed in the wrong direction. That's one of the biggest traps, is when you get off that train and then you talk yourself into getting back on it. You'll be tempted. I know how the mind works. I know how the brain works. You will be tempted. Familiar pain is very seductive. So stay sharp, stay focused, pay attention. And here's a few biblical anchors to help you on that track. Because the Bible is full of men who had to pivot fast. When you think about Jonah, he ran in the opposite way from his calling. And God made sure he got off that train. He did it with a storm and a giant whale. What about Peter? He denied Christ 3 times, but he got back on his mission. Paul, he zealously persecuted the church until God literally stopped him in his tracks and set him on a new mission. He was on that road to Damascus, right? When he got knocked off. So, before you have to have that experience of your whale or your Damascus Road experience, maybe it's that still small voice that God's speaking to you in. Because God does not condemn your course correction. He doesn't condemn you changing directions. He actually expects it. When we look at the scriptures, in Lamentations 3 verse 40, the Bible says, let us examine our ways and test them, and let us return to the Lord. See, you don't get points for stubbornness. You get freedom when you're willing to pivot. Now, the key here is be careful and don't confuse endurance with stubbornness. Yes, there are times when God calls you to endure hardship. And yes, not every struggle means that you're on the wrong path. But here's the way to tell the difference. Endurance is about pushing through challenge with purpose. And stubbornness is about pushing through misery without any alignment. So if your spirit's crushed, if your passion is dead, and your direction is misaligned, you're not enduring, you're avoiding change. And this should help you know the difference. So your challenge today, take 10 minutes, quiet minutes, no distractions, no noise, just you and brutal honesty. And ask yourself, where in my life am I stuck on the wrong train? And what is it really costing me if I stay on this train any longer? Then ask yourself, what's the next station? Where can I get off this train headed the wrong way? And what step, one small step, what can I do today to make that happen? Write it down. Commit to it. And remember, the longer you wait, the more costly that return trip is. Today's the day we break that negative trance. We stop buying into that sunk cost fallacy. Today's the day to reclaim your mind, to get off the wrong train, and to get headed back in the right direction. All right. Thank y'all for joining me. I hope this video has been helpful. If it has, please give it a like, leave me a comment, let me know what you felt was most important about this video. I've got a little guide that I put together. It's 7 lies that are keeping you trapped and how to break free from them. If you want a copy of that, just leave me a comment. Just say guide in the comment, and I'll make sure you get a copy of that. I've got videos like this and others over on my YouTube channel as well. I love the lives and the fact that we can reach people here on Facebook with the lives. They've started deleting them after 30 days, so I've been moving them over to the YouTube channel as well so that you have access to them later in the future, longer than 30 days from now. And if this really resonated with you and you feel stuck but you don't really know what direction to head in, hit me up. Send me a message. I'd be happy to talk with you and see if it's something I feel like I could help you with and get you back on the right track. All right. I hope you all have a great day, and we'll see you in the next video.